Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. It's Janae with the Janae Experience. I am so happy to be in 2020 with you guys, and I am doing the dear video. I don't know what it says. I think it's just everybody's Dear John type letter to each person that they feel as if though they wanted to make amends with. At first I thought it was an apology, but when I watched a couple of the videos and stuff, it wasn't really an apology. It was more or less like, all right, I'm grown, I'm trying to go into a new year with some new energy and new vibe. So with that being said, one, you have got to give credit to the originator, the originators, that is. I'm not sure which one did it first, if it was DDG or Pretty Boy Fredo, but I know that it kicked off a trend in the Black community of YouTubers, and so everybody's doing it. And so I watched a couple of them. Of course, I watched Ariana's, I watched Neek and King's, I watched Carmen's and Corey's, and who else? I didn't get a chance to watch DC's yet. Saw pieces of Trey's, and long story short, one thing that I realized is that as I kept watching these, videos, the common denominator was me. So of course I'm reading the comments and stuff, and in the comments, especially Airi comments, they were just absolutely horrible. And my child has yet to learn how to filter the comments, and told her a million times. But whatever case may be, you got a lot of people that's in the comments that's saying a lot of stuff or whatever. And honestly, I can understand why they're saying the things that they're saying, because if you don't know the inner workings of a situation, you can only go by what's presented before you. And at first I was like, I don't want to do an apology video, because what am I apologizing for? And then I was like, Dan, I don't want to say what am I apologizing for, because then it's like, oh, you don't accept responsibility for nothing. It was just like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So my thing is, what I wanted to do was to go ahead and kind of address a lot of those of you who are interested in being in the YouTube space, who are interested in winning, but due to so much drama that's around the ones that's in the community that are, our skin color per se, we've been spending so much time with drama and so much time with he said, she said stuff, and she did this and he did that, that we haven't really taken the opportunity to show other people how to get on this platform. And we haven't actually showed people how you can win in this space. And I know I done threw jabs and stuff at everybody. Well, ain't nobody putting nobody on, all this other stuff. But I was at church Sunday. And when I was at church, the New Year's message was coming in, and it was just saying how God calls you to do certain things, and how, real quick Bible lesson for y'all. So the passage was about Mary being pregnant with Jesus, right? This was a Christmas message, my fault. So Mary being pregnant with Jesus, and while she was pregnant with Jesus, her cousin Elizabeth was also pregnant with John the Baptist, right? For those of you that know, John the Baptist is the one that made the way for Jesus, spreading the gospel. He was the one that was already going around baptizing people and telling people about the Messiah, the coming Messiah. But his mom, who was Elizabeth, was 6 months pregnant, but she was old girl's cousin, Mary. She was her cousin. And Mary, based on the history of the Bible and the culture of that time, she was believed to be around 14, 15, and her cousin Elizabeth, let's just say she was older, 30 something or whatever. But whatever the case may be, she didn't think that she can give birth. That's a whole nother story. She didn't think she can ever get pregnant, Elizabeth. So now you have Mary, who's pregnant with the Messiah. And so she goes to Elizabeth, and when she goes to Elizabeth, John the Baptist leaps in her stomach with excitement, because basically he bore witness that she was carrying Christ. So I don't even know the guest pastor name that was doing this, but whatever. The pastor, the area that he used, I had never heard anybody use this part before. He was saying that sometimes you don't pick your assignment. Because Mary was like, I ain't trying to do this, when the angel came to her like, no. You don't pick your assignment, because you really don't have a choice in it, because whatever God called you to do, that's what you called to do. Now, you can either do it willingly or unwillingly, right? So the message was, she had something that she was responsible for executing here on the earth that would change generations to come, right? And she didn't elect her hand to get selected for that. God chose her, right? She had to deal with ridicule because of the fact, how you gonna come tell somebody, yeah, I'm pregnant with God's child, God's my baby daddy. Looney Ward on aisle 3. Not only that, you about to get married to who? Because if I'm Joseph's mama, you better not marry that girl. She think you stupid. So she had all this going on talking about it, but yet you carrying something of so much value, right? But you like, I don't want this. I ain't even do nothing to get this. You get it? So she going through this whole experience. Long story short. So then, she get with Elizabeth. Elizabeth was like, oh, praise, God, baby leaps for joy, John the Baptist. And the pastor bring it home with this when he says, you know what? There will be a lot of obstacles, a lot of people talking about you who don't know your story, a lot of people that think they know your story because they see the evidence of what they think is your story. And they'll begin to put you in a category and begin to say, hey, this is what she is, because look at her, she loose. She been giving it up to little Roy down the street because of the fact, Joseph, you ain't got that. And you got all the older women looking at her like, look at her, pregnant and ain't even married yet. And you know what I'm saying? But God sent one person to protect her, right? Joseph, because based on customs, Joseph was supposed to, keep it moving with old girl because of the fact it was shameful to marry somebody who wasn't a virgin. And then she pregnant on top of that. Gonna have to do that. So he was gonna put her away quietly, like, you know what? We just gonna tell people ain't work. I'm gonna go my way, you go your way. Ain't nobody gonna notice, right? So the angel of the Lord comes to him and he's like, nah, dude, this is how it is. Chill out. We got you. And he like, well, I'm gonna tell my folks. Angel like, don't worry about it. Just come on. We got you. Right? So they leave. So Mary is left with one person. She had to leave her family. We don't hear that much about her family, except for Elizabeth, the cousin. But she leaves the whole family, friends, anybody that could have helped her through that morning sickness. I'm pretty sure Jesus gave her morning sickness. Had to help her through that. I don't know if I can do this, and this is too much, all that stuff. There was nobody physically there that can help her, get through this next phase, right? So Joseph was responsible for covering her and protecting her. And he was saying that God will send you a person, and it might not be exactly what you want to sign up for, but God will send you a person, somebody to come in and that will basically protect you and to walk you through whatever tests and trials that you have to go through, right? So that's being said. So now you have, So now you have Mary and you have Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is carrying the promised child as well. Her promised child is to make the way for the one that's going to change generations. Did you catch that? They were both pregnant with something great. One was to prepare the way for the one that's going to change generations. So they both just as valuable as the other one, per se. Can't put Christ on the same level. But the mission at that moment is just as valuable, right? So I'm listening to it. I'm like, all right, I get it. And then I said, wait a minute, who am I? And I was like, could I be Mary, the one that everybody's talking about? Because they see the evidence that she's pregnant and they know that they didn't get married because there wasn't no ceremony yet. And then all of a sudden she disappeared. And since she disappeared, everybody automatically assumed the worst. And then on top of that, she's talking about she pregnant with a promise, a gift, the ultimate, pregnant with, God. Like, am I heard that everybody looking at crazy because of the fact what she's saying does not add up with what they know? And so am I the one that's like, I don't want this. I just did this because my child came home talking about she wanted to be a YouTuber. And because I thought I was Mommy of the Year, I'm like, oh, okay, by golly, let's look into this. And as I got through like listening and worshiping and really, really asking God to make it clear to me, that's exactly what it was. We all are pregnant with promise. We all are pregnant with something that's greater than us. We all are pregnant with something that's going to cause us to go outside of our comfort zone, whether we want to or not. And so with that being the case, this whole 2020 movement that everybody's on, it's like, I didn't want to share, that I was struggling. I didn't want to share I was struggling mentally, emotionally, financially from what had happened. I didn't want to because of the fact I felt like my ego and my pride, like, no, I ain't going out like that. Like, no, I'm not going to say, like, yeah, I used to cry myself to sleep, and yeah, I still miss these kids, and yeah, I'm mad and I'm hurt and da-da-da. I don't want to do all of that. I wanted to, tell everybody business, like, well, they this, that, and that. I did some of them, though, because they started with me, but I didn't get a chance to really feel what I was feeling, because one, I tried to medicate it. Yep, I went to the doctor and I had to take anxiety pills because of the fact I was crying, I couldn't focus, I was stressed. It was like I didn't want to look on the internet, because if I saw something on the internet, it was, you know, something attacking me. I wanted to drop videos every second trying to defend myself. I wanted to reach out to people and say, no, I'm not like that. I'm really a nice person. No, by golly, this, that, and the other. It was a dark moment for me. It was a dark time for me. That whole year was a dark year for me. And the light just kind of started glistening the past 2 months or so, really. And in the midst of me wanting to cry, waddle, be in self-pity and all that stuff, God still blessed me. And he gave me a ram in the bush. And it was a lady that came out of nowhere that put me on with somebody else, The next thing you know, I'm in a space that I never even thought I would be in a space with, working with these type of people. Never. And then on top of it, I'm thinking if they was to see the stuff that's out about me, one Google, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? But yet, it never happened. And, you know, I'm still in that space. I'm still working with these people. They still love me. I still love them. We still getting results. We still, you know. So then I'm like, all right, God, cool, bet. This where we going. We ain't got to be bothered with all that other stuff. I ain't never working with a kid again in my life. That's all I kept saying. People was approaching me. When we hit Atlanta, it got real. Like in Houston, I ain't really go nowhere. So I didn't really run into a lot of people who knew who we were. And so when I got in Atlanta, it got real. I cannot, and it's a humbling experience, because I don't went out looking a mess. And people didn't stop me. And they like, oh, you know, I really want to work with you, da, da, da. It was this girl, Zoe, recently when I was at Cracker Barrel, like about 2 months ago, who approached me. And she was about, you know, like maybe 10 years younger than me, maybe like 30, 32, something like that. And her and her sister was doing YouTube. And so she pulled out her phone and she was like, you know, well, I just wanted to know this, that, and another. And she's like, oh my God, I'm, you know, so excited to meet you. And I'm just looking at her like, girl, you know they talking about me, right? Girl, you know I'm the scamming JANAY, right? Girl, you know I'm the one that went to jail for trying to sneak her kids in school. You sure you want me to look in your phone? So she hands me her phone. And so as she handed me her phone or whatever, and she's telling me what she's trying to do with her channel, and she's like, well, what do you think? Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do that? And I'm just like, all excited, like, no, do this. You're doing this wrong. Da 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 da. So I'm telling her this stuff, right? So I'm telling her and I'm going through it or whatever. And next thing I know, she says to me, she says, you're really passionate about this. She was like, you really like to do this. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, do you think you'll ever work with anybody else again? No. Now, God got jokes, because I said I wasn't ever working with no kids again. Now, here go this grown woman and got her life together, her husband sitting there, and, you know, and I'm just like, no. So, long story short, I've been doing that for the past 4 months since I've been here. And and I couldn't understand, like, girl, what is your issue? Why are you holding back? Why are you, you know, not willing to help other people? What, because these kids talking about you? What, because some people, you know, JK 5598 talking about you that you will never meet? Like, why are you stuck there? And I could not explain it, understand it, shake it, or anything. And I was notorious for telling the kids. I used to tell Damien this all the time. Stay out the crowd. You don't see LeBron in the bleachers. Don't go in the bleachers. Stay out the crowd. Don't read the comments. I'm all in the bleachers, eating popcorn, drinking, hot dogs, everything. Because for some reason, you just want to feel, you know, like validated, approved. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm looking at people doing reaction videos. I'm looking at, you know, people dropping videos, scamming JANAY, lying JANAY, stealing JANAY. You know, JANAY. And I said, dang, is anybody gonna do a good video about me? No, never, ever. But I had to really think about it. And one of my favorite Bible stories is the story about David. And, you know, I know y'all think I'm gonna say David and Goliath, and, you know, the kids are my Goliath, and no. My favorite story is when Saul, the king at that time, was chasing David to kill David because of the fact he knew that his time was up, and he figured, if I kill David, I'm gonna still be king, right? So every time David would come around Saul, he would try and play music, he would try and dance, anything just to calm Saul down. Like, dude, quit trying to kill me. I love you. Quit trying to kill me. Like, I'm trying to help you. And every time, David playing the harp, the music trying to soothe Saul, and Saul be all relaxed, and all of a sudden he'd be like, And so this one particular time, I guess David's like, you know what? I had enough. Now, David was best friends with his son Jonathan, the king that was trying to kill him. The daddy trying to kill him. The best friend is his son. So David like, look, Jonathan, I love you. Dap it up. I'm my brother's keeper. I got you. You ever need, a stone of bread or anything, hit up your boy. But right about now, I'm about to be over here in this cave where everybody else is. Now, the cave is the cave of Abdullah. I think I'm saying it right. And what's in this cave blew me away. If you get a chance, read the story. It was the cave where all the misfits went. Where all the misfits went. Everybody that was rejected by society, if you couldn't pay your bills, you was in that cave. If you owed folks and you was running from, people, you was in that cave. If you didn't fit in with nobody, you was in that cave. All the misfits, everybody that was rejects per society was in that cave. And so David was like, ain't nobody gonna come here looking for me. And I feel right in with this group. This is my home. Now, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look a little bit deeper to find out how long he was in that cave, but he was in there until old boy died. So when Saul died in war or whatever, he actually fell on his sword. That's another thing too, because them traps you be setting up for everybody else, be careful, because you mess around and get caught up in your own trap. That's another sermon. But he actually fell on his sword, and his best friend also got killed in war. So now David, they come to tell David that Saul is dead and he's now the king. Now, the average person would have been like, you know what, about time, because that man was tripping. He was trying to take my life. But instead, Saul was David was grieving because he had just lost his best friend, and he had just lost their king. He loved their king. And I'm pretty sure some people that knew David and knew that Saul was trying to kill him is like, you crying for what? This man was trying to take you out. Why in the world are you sitting here crying over Saul? You need to be thanking God that he took him out, because of the fact if he had stayed any longer, he was going to take you out. And the Bible doesn't really go into detail as to why, David was still, loving somebody who was trying to kill him. And when I really thought about it, when I, get in my little pity parties, and when the situation with the kids and stuff, when it came up, when I really thought about it, I was like, I still love them. I still love them, And I'm just like, my husband like, if you don't go somewhere, my kids like, what? Move on. Like, nobody wanted to hear me talk about these kids. Nobody wanted to hear me talk about these kids. Nobody. And I'm just like, well, maybe if I call them, maybe if I this, maybe if I that. And it'll go from that to the extreme, like, you know what, forget them. Like, they should be grateful I did da-da-da. Then it'll go back to, well, I could have did this different. I could have did that different. I should have did this. I should have did that. I didn't know that. I didn't know this. And I come to conclusion, 2020, dear 2020, I apologize to myself. I apologize to myself for one, not being woman enough and confident enough in the gift that God gave me that I didn't ask for. Never did I grow up and say I wanted to be a YouTube specialist. Never did I say I wanted to work with a whole bunch of kids. Never, ever. But I'm like, okay, I get it. This is what I'm supposed to do. As much as I run from it, people were still coming to me with it. And I'm just like, nah, if I drop a product, if I do a class, they're going to call me a scammer. I ain't trying to deal with that. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Right? So, I apologize to myself. And I apologize to every Zoe and, the baby I met at Cracker Barrel and her sister. Every, a little girl, or who sees me in a grocery store or something, and she's like, you know, my baby really talented, and, you know, I really would love it if you would work with them. And, you know, every person that hit me up in my DMs talking about, you know, just, you know, I promise I'm not like them. I'll help you. I'll work with you. Whatever you say. To every one of you guys, I apologize. I apologize for allowing my fear, my feelings, my thoughts to make me hide the gift that I have and to start second guessing it. Because one thing that we have all got to agree with, one thing we all have to agree with in this situation is that we all came, we conquered, we saw, and we all, you know, glory to God, went different directions. Some of us went higher, some of us, you know, stayed where we are, and some of us are climbing, you know, now. But the point is that we made it through this. This was only 2 years. For those of you that's been following this journey from the time that I got in this space with DNB Nation, it has been only 2 years. It's been 2 years. Really 3 if I count that era. I've been in this space for 3 years, and that's it. And I have had some great experiences, but I had some hell of a lows. And, you know, yeah, hell of a lows. You know, every time I see a video from somebody I work with, I'm like, they gonna be the one. They gonna be like, yeah, thanks, JANAY. Good looking out. Yeah, she was really sweet. Love her. No. And God was like, little girl, grown woman, old woman, however we want to look at it. But I'd be thinking he said little girl. If you don't go on somewhere and get your grown tail up and go and do what I told you to do and go ahead and continue to change lives, because guess what? It ain't about you. Nope. It ain't even about you. You might not ever get an accolade. You might not ever get a thank you. You might not ever get credit for anything. But you gonna stop? I'm like, yes. And then I thought about it. The lives that have been connected, the lives that have been changed because of one person's decision to keep going in spite of. To keep pushing in spite of. That's what I'm challenging you all in 2020. Do it in spite of. They talking? All right, let's go. They think you can't? All right, let's go. You ain't got the stuff you need? All right, let's go. No excuses. No reason for you not to be great. Have the audacity to be great. A friend of mine told me that. A friend of mine, he didn't say it like that, but he said it's this particular person, one of my clients I have worked with. This personality and stature was so big and so boss, but they have so many imperfections that the world has been able to see and tries to hold it over, you know, their head. And he refuses to allow that to be so. And so one of his close, you know, associates shared with me the reason why he wins is because he has the audacity to walk in and claim whatever it is that he's supposed to be taking care of at that moment and get out. Yep. He has the audacity. Like, I don't want nobody an explanation. I'm not looking for nobody's approval. The person that I'm accountable to and the person that's looking to make sure that Dejanine Marie Lynch, aka JANAY, do what she's supposed to do is God Almighty. That's it. I held so many people on these pedestals. My kids, I put so much pressure on Airi. That's another one I apologize to. But I apologize to her for a different reason than what you all think, because you don't know what happens in between, you know, these four walls. But I apologize to her because of the fact she had the unfortunate position of me looking for her to defend me. You know, me looking at her like, why ain't you out there, you know, nuck if you buck? Like, what is you doing? Like, why is you, you know, not saying anything? Why is you, you know? And I'm just like, if it was me, I'd be tearing up stuff. And I didn't realize how out of order that was. Until one day she told me, she said, "Ma, I'm sorry your childhood wasn't what it should have been. I'm sorry that you don't feel like, your parents did X, Y, and Z. But mine was good. I don't have the same issues you had growing up. I don't feel unloved. I don't feel like I have to take care of you. She wanted to just listen, and it dawned on me. Well done, Dejanine. Well done." That's why she couldn't function in that space, because it wasn't her job to function in that space. That's how come Ariana's been quiet all this time, because of her thing. What can she say? Because if I've been carrying on as if though I'm the strong, I can handle anything in the world, I'm a woman, hear me roar, and I wish you would make us mess with my baby cuz, and all of a sudden I become a punk because some kids come for me. Yeah, she didn't know who I was neither. My son Damon, he looking at me like, Damon was like on go. Him and my husband was on go. Him, Vaughn, and Terrence was on go at any moment. And I'm like, no, because of this. And me and, him, we at each other. He like, you need to do this. You need to do that. And it wasn't that he was telling me to go off or anything like that. He was telling me, like, you underestimate who you are. He's like, basically speaking life into me, like, all these people that's coming for you wouldn't even be connected if you wasn't in a room. And I'm just like, yeah, I hear you. Yup. And then next thing you know, my confidence right back down. And one of, I would consider one of my enemies at that moment, when I was talking to him, telling him like, yeah, I'm gonna let everybody know how they did me and how, wrong everybody was. And this person told me, laughed actually, like sarcastically laughed, and was like, "Janae, you're not gonna win." And I'm like, "What you mean I'm not gonna win?" "Yes, I am. When people find out this, that, another, they gonna know they lying. They gonna know this, that, another." And he said to me, "They have a platform. You don't." And at that moment, it just sucked the life out of me, because I'm just like, dang, you're right. I helped, with the grace of God and their talent, build some of the biggest Black influencers on YouTube in the past 2 years. Only Black female to have ever done it. Yep, I'm saying it. Only female, Black female to have ever done it. A one-person empire, with God, who has ever done it, to been able to take 22 influencers, and I'm counting this, I ain't counting everybody, 22 influencers from living in folks' basement, to not having enough money to buy food, to not having enough money to buy clothes, to repeating the same clothes, or making just enough to take care of your life, but not enough to do the extra stuff. To helping people not self-destruct with their stories because they don't know how to tell it. To help people not self-destruct because the pressure got so much to them that some of these babies wanted to end it. When I step back and I think about it, all glory go to God. Yep, I ain't get my roses. I ain't get my awards. I ain't get my cheers. But I always tell my kids, if you can remember what you did for somebody, play by play, it wasn't sincere. It wasn't sincere because of the fact there's no way you should be able to remember everything you've done for somebody unless you keep in track. Now, some stuff you remember because it was like, ooh, that was a big one. But everything, I can't remember everything I've done, good or bad. But to her, I apologize that I made her feel as if though she had to step in some shoes that wasn't meant for her. This wasn't her fight. And she acted just like a child would act at that time. These are my friends. They like me. That's like in her videos that she said, why didn't nobody call me? Because in her mind, her mama had it. I didn't. God knows I didn't. Because you can't fight with, quote unquote kids. You can't, fight with, invisible forces, But one thing I did get out of this whole situation, and, a couple of people I do want to address, and when I say I'm done with this, unless I'm on a bigger platform somewhere and somebody cutting the check, I'm done with this. Let's go ahead, Armand and Trey, particularly Armand. I I don't remember all the details of that night. I do know that a lot of stuff happened. I know it just, everything looked like a huge lie, big mess. I know. I understand. No excuses. No excuses. You know, to say I didn't know this, to say I thought it was this, to say that. No excuses. But what I will do is I will apologize for, you know, you feeling as if though I purposely, willingly betrayed you, that I purposely, willingly, you know, set y'all up in a position where you all would feel like I was a thief. I would purposely, you know, take money from you all. I apologize to you all dearly. And whether you all, you know, forgive and forget or not, just know that the love I had for you all, and I'm not going to go through situations, but it was evident. And in this situation, I felt like it was warranted. It should have been a moment where we came back to the table. It should have been a moment where we came back to the table, but things had gotten so disrespectful. It was almost impossible to come back to the table. And once things started to unravel, and I was able to see things for what it was and actually see where the error was, I wasn't calling. And then when I found out that messages was left on Airi's phone threatening her, I wasn't calling. At that point, it was like, it is what it is. So I apologize for not being humble enough to put my pride to the side and to come to you all and say, hey, look, this is what this is. This is what that is. I didn't catch it at first, but this is what it is, and here you go. I apologize for that. I truly apologize for that. That was definitely a prideful decision that I made, and was also a defiant decision I made against what I know what was right to do. Because as a mom, and you all becoming parents now, as a mom, it's one thing when you come for me, but to come for your kids, it just kind of make you be like, all right, it is what it is. Just like you guys' mom felt, and I guess it was some messages she left for Airi, that Airi waited into, you know, I guess the dust settled to tell me. But you all know what well, Trey knows. I don't think our mom really knows. Trey knows well, I'm pretty sure Trey told him, but Trey knows the two things that kind of, you know, crossed the line for me or whatever. Everybody else that was part of that group never got named, which is hilarious. It never got named. Like JQC, they never got named. But to Jazz, Josh, I'm gonna save Chris for last, Queen. Who else was in that group? Shoot, I don't know. Whoever was in that group, I apologize to you all, because Emma Vaughn, I apologize to you all for this situation, Emma Vaughn, this situation. I apologize to you all because of the fact that I should not got so in my feelings that I quit. Yep. Chris and Queen, Armand and Trey, we had already decided that we was gonna go our separate ways. Emmett Vaughn, Josh, Jazz, I can't think of who else was with us, but Mike at that time, because Mike was waiting for me to send him the contract. I never sent that. I apologize to you all because of the fact that I wasn't strong enough to handle that, because I felt like nobody on that team was willing to defend me. It was like, after all I had done and all I had showed up for and everything I had given, somebody just accused me of stealing, you know, $60,000-$70,000, and nobody can find something to say. Like, hold on, well, no, I don't see JANAY doing that. So in my feelings, I said, you know what? I quit. I sent out this group message and said, I'm done. I don't want to work with nobody. I apologize for walking out on you all and not being woman enough to say to y'all, like, dang, you know, this is business at the end of the day. Ain't your job to protect me. Ain't nobody's job to protect me. My job is to get y'all results, and y'all job is to pay me. That's what I should have been on. And I apologize to you all for, mandatory family dinners at my house. I apologize to y'all for that. I apologize to, all right, we got to move as a group. I apologize for that, because at the end of the day, what I have learned from all of you all, and I mean this sincerely, y'all about y'all business. Ain't no friends in this. Ain't no family in this. The almighty dollar and making sure your kids and your family eat is the most important thing. And I apologize to my family that I didn't move in that type of atmosphere constantly. So I accept a lot of the responsibility of how all of these groups turned out, because I was the common denominator. I was the one who know Christ, know God, who definitely knows better, knows how to conduct themselves, know how to, bring resolution to situations. And a lot of these situations, I act childish, emotional and childish, because of the fact I stepped out of my leadership position. And I'm almost say at times, try to become one of the cool aunties instead of being the boss bee that I should have been. Because when I was the boss bee, the results came. Everybody's bag was what it was supposed to be. But when the emotions came, oh, Janae, I got to pay this, and my mama need this. All right, you can pay me later. You know what I'm saying? I apologize for not handling my business like I should have and stay in business. I apologize that, I got into relationships, allowing people to talk to me about personal relationships, and me trying to be, Dr. Phil, let's sit down and let's talk about this and let's solve this and let's... I apologize for that, because of the fact that I was out of line. Y'all business had nothing to do with me. If y'all wanted to kill each other and fighting like cats and dogs like y'all have, I should have just let it be, because it wasn't my business. And I should have left and said, hey, I'll be back on the next business day. But instead of that, I got so emotionally involved, and that's not your fault, that's my fault. And so I bear the consequence of not moving like I should have moved. So I apologize for that. And therefore, this public fallout, this public embarrassment, I deserve every bit of it, because of the fact, had I been a boss in this situation, there wouldn't have been nothing nobody could say except... But I just basically wanted to share with you all, my dear 2020, and, how I felt about everything. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.